Mitchell hitting .385 on the season. Flag blows slightly out to left field, and just like that, the grass is green, the lines are painted, and we are ready for Big Ten baseball. First pitch swinging for Mitchell. Edwards has to cover the bag. Quick play, quick thinking for Edwards, 4 out 1.
Yeah, how about that speed from Edwards? You see the ball go a little long, not able for Adrian Lopez to get to it fast enough. And instead, Edwards the one who has to run across. Look at that sprint. Can you say pitcher who does it all?
Pitchers are athletes too, McKenna, as most say. Mentioned Velasquez at shortstop. From left to right in the outfield, Carpentier, Takeuchi, Lamb, Martinez, the counterpart on the left side for Velasquez, Covarrubias, who just made that play, Adrian Lopez at first base, and Cadena behind the dish. Next pitch after the 1 pitch, 1 out is a strike. Fastball on the outside half for Mason Edwards.
And you're looking at Caleb Wolf, who is incredibly difficult to strike out. And you have Wolf and Mitchell at the top of the order. A really good 1-2 punch, and one of the best that you'll find in college baseball this season.
Power on power, ranked 4th in the nation and hardest to strike out is Caleb Wolf at the plate, and the 2nd most strikeouts in the nation on the mound for Mason Edwards. The 0-2 kick and pitch is swung on and missed. First K of the night. Can Cadena complete it? He can for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down quickly for Edwards.
Edwards really getting those first 2 out quickly. Not something you always see from him, getting into that fielding position to cover first base. But really, I think you have a game like he did against UCLA, one that he didn't perform to his standard and how he holds himself to. And you can tell that it has gotten to him early.
Miles Risley, the 3-hitter for Iowa, has been all season. Hitting .348 with 4 home runs. Edwards mowed down the first 2 hitters of his last start of Friday night against UCLA. The second one was a drop third strike that wasn't completed by then-catcher Richard Tejeda, and an overthrow to first base allowed for a run to come in the first inning for UCLA. From there, things somewhat unraveled. Edwards had the chance to go 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, only 3 of them being earned following the error. There's a nice breaking ball dropped in for strike 2. Quickly ahead, 1-2, 2 down.
And Risley has the team high in strikeouts right now, 27 on the season so far. So even though he is a huge run producer, you have that to combat it.
1-2 pitch. It's sky high towards the first baseline. Adrian Lopez tracking Covarrubias over there as well. A little bit of a miscommunication, but Covarrubias lays out and steals it. No, Lopez has it instead. They both went for the ball at the same time. Nonetheless, same result. Out 3. 1-2-3 goes Mason Edwards. No hits, no runners on as Lopez and Covarrubias manage the line for 3 outs. USC hitting first start of the season for Justin Hackett.
Yeah, Justin Hackett, TCU transfer, so he has that Big 12 experience. And really, he settled kind of into that high leverage bullpen role for Iowa. His first start of the season, and Iowa has had some major changes with their bullpen and their pitching as a whole. You look at this team, they posted the 16th best ERA in the nation last year, but had to replace almost every meaningful arm, including the entire weekend rotation. They lost 428 innings from last year's staff, bringing back just 52.
Brought back 52 and a third innings pitch. Avery Covarrubias leads it off for the Trojans. First pitch misses high at 90 miles per hour. Hackett's got a fastball, a cutter, and a big slider that he likes to go to in 2 strike counts. As most arms do, sure does Mason Edwards on the other side. Got his first punch out of the day last inning. Quickly 2-0 is Covarrubias.
Hackett getting the start after their projected Friday starter at the beginning of the season. Tyler Guerin got injured in the 2nd inning against Alabama during the Frisco Classic. And he has been back, but in limited positions. He's now a bullpen pitcher for now. Since then, you see Jason Bleeker get the Friday starter for the 5 past weekends in a row. But last Friday, he pitched 2 innings, gave up 5 runs. and it gave Hackett the start tonight.
Avery Covarrubias has been the catalyst at the top of the lineup, and it's not a guy you want to put on. Hackett does quickly on 4 pitches, a base on balls for number 7 for USC, who leads the Big Ten in stolen bases with 14 on the season.
And stolen bases is something that Iowa has excelled at all season, so it'll be interesting to see that matchup together.
It's kind of been a race to score for either team, McKenna, especially early in the season, both with very solid records when they score first.
Yeah, both trying to get on that board. You always want to get that first strike, get that momentum going, but for two squads who historically do so well when getting on the board first, something that they're both going to be looking for here.
USC 19-2 when they score first. Iowa 14-2. Almost guarantees a win if they get on the board first. USC the first team to threaten as Adrian Lopez digs in. First pitch, he thought about it. Check swing, says Scott Letendre, our home plate umpire in tonight's contest. Full crew, home plate umpire Scott Letendre. First base umpire Bradley Hungerford. Second base, Ryan Bleberg. And third base, John Wolf. That'll be our crew this weekend. First game of a 3-game set. As a breaking ball spikes in the dirt, first ball taken by Lopez, following the strike off a 4-pitch walk to Covarrubias.
And you look at Hackett, he has a great strikeout rate, but the walks that he gives up and the home runs allowed have really inflated his ERA.
So he led the pack from returning pitchers last season, as that one almost got away from Wolf at first base, scoops it out of the dirt. 18 2/3 innings pitched last season. But quite honestly, for Iowa, the plan was to most likely use Hackett in a long relief situation. A couple arms get injured, and now Hackett has a massive Friday night start. That one fanned on and missed by Lopez. Big swing on an 82-mile-per-hour cutter. Covarrubias on first base. He hasn't thought about taking off yet. Again, the Big Ten leader in stolen bases. He'll hold on this 1-2 pitch. That one laced into left field. It'll be right at Nearett in left, who doesn't have to move but an inch before catching that one for out 1.
So Iowa hanging in here early. Adrian Lopez far over to left. And that'll bring up the second Lopez.
Augie Lopez indeed returns to the plate. He has been arguably the hottest hitter in the USC lineup. Mixed production throughout the UCLA series for this lineup from 1 to 9, but Lopez was one of the constants. He went 4 for 11 in that series, as that one hit sky high into the air in shallow right field. Incoming is Strautmeyer, and that will be caught for out number 2. First pitch swinging was Lopez, thinking about gaining his 9th team-leading home run. Got under it a little bit, though, McKenna.
Yeah, you'll look at the swing here. Just a little too much underneath it. Pops it up right towards Strautmeyer.
Well, that felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, a little bit of the issue in the UCLA series for USC. Got close in some games towards the end, kind of pressing up a little tight. Not a lot of offensive production in those innings 5 through 9 throughout all 3 games.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to see if you are the Trojans. Not saying that your offense has been struggling all season, but the thing that really has carried this team has been the pitching. And so when you have a tough weekend, if you're the USC offense like that, you really want to come out swinging here.
Here, Covarrubias will try for second base. The throw is online, and it's got him. Thrown out by Geffrey behind the plate. He's only been caught 2 times this season, stealing second. Covarrubias adds his 3rd off the arm of Geffrey there. A bullet to second base. Good tag applied by Gable Mitchell. A dart gets Iowa out of the inning. Nothing.
2 players, especially with the season that Mason Edwards has been having. I mean, Big Ten Pitcher of the Week 3 times. He's on that Golden Spikes watch list. And Hackett just really having to step in when his team needs it most.
There's that looping breaking ball for the first strike of the top of the 2nd frame. Carter Geffrey redshirted last season, played all of the past 2 series, had an RBI, 2 RBI series versus Minnesota, and the big walk-off home run in the Saturday game.
Yeah, big walk-off home run, especially when you are a redshirt freshman, being able to even the Minnesota series like that. Good momentum for your team.
Jeffrey's behind the dish, and he just threw out Covarrubias to end the bottom of the first inning. See if it translates to the hitting side. The appeal to first base, he struck him out. Mason Edwards racks up his second strikeout of the day on a filthy breaking ball in the dirt.
Edwards bringing back that fire early on here, not unlike how he performed against the #1 UCLA in the beginning. We take a look at that last pitch there.
Breaking ball.
Cadena try and run after it.
The switch up of the catchers, talked about it. Tejeda was behind the plate on Friday last week, catching Edwards. Today it'll be Isaac Cadena.
And Edwards and Tejeda have really formed quite the relationship and have that trust between each other. Almost every matchup that Edwards has pitched has been to Tejeda, but going up with a changeup after that loss.
1-0 popped up in the infield. Another chance for Covarrubias and Adrian Lopez to test their communication. This time Covarrubias takes it. 2 up, 2 down for Edwards.
And I'm just glad he didn't trip over the helmet. You see the helmet fall off the head. He has to go back towards the left. Doesn't hit the helmet, thank goodness.
Dodging obstacles is Covarrubias. He had one in the first inning, and it was Adrian Lopez. This time his hat falls off. He's got to avoid that. Mason Edwards was simply incredible his first 6 starts of the season. He's had a career high in strikeouts his first outing with 9. From there, he upped it more and more. He went 11 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts. Then he had a 12 spot. His past 2 have been some of his more shaky, though. Hasn't been bad by any means, but again, up to Edwards standards. Something you conversate with around the USC community.
And speaking about around the USC community, it has spoken about that he came into the fall as an older, more confident guy. And head coach Sanguin said that they really want him taking the ball because of how great that fall session went. And they really believe that he was ready to make that big jump this season. And it has been paying off in strides.
Looks like Edwards has his A-plus stuff tonight. We'll tell in a 2-0 as a fastball at 91 miles per hour blown by Narrett. Joey Narrett, the left-handed hitter, transferred from Dallas Baptist. He said Iowa was his dream school to go to. He's living out his dreams as he cuts and misses at that fastball at 92, ramping it up 1 more mile per hour as Edwards.
And this was after Narrett spent the last 3 years at Dallas Baptist. There he put up 9 home runs in 84 games.
2-2 down. Edwards delivery, a breaking ball in the dirt. He got him. Edwards with his second strikeout of the inning, 3rd on the day. 1, 2, 3 in back-to-back frames for number 30. The southpaw has been great to start this Friday night contest. First game of the series, USC and Iowa for the first time ever, as Mason Edwards with a breaking ball got him swinging on a check swing. Don't go anywhere. We're all knotted up at Dado Field. For more, one, of course, the #1 team in the country, UCLA, last weekend. The other one, Oregon State, at 7. 2 teams that Iowa has also played as well.
And they also lost on both of those. They were swept in the series too. UCLA lost that midweek against Oregon State. But USC 0-4 against ranked opponents right now, and so something that they're going to want to change when Nebraska does come knocking on their door.
They'll head to Lincoln, Nebraska next weekend. Kevin Takeuchi has another chance following Covarrubias' caught stealing to end the bottom of the first. He's been easily the most consistent guy and versatile bat in the USC lineup. Recently reached his 100th hit at USC and leads the team in batting average at .306. Ahead 2-0, he'll take a strike on a fastball on the outside corner.
I mean, one of the most complete hitters. And you talk about that consistency. Yes, he leads in at-bats at 127, but he's also the only USC player to be the sole starter in their position. For him, center field. Every other position has had at least 2 players get the starting role.
3-1 count. Hackett walked the leadoff man last inning on 4 pitches, Covarrubias, and then worked around some trouble. Again, got some help from his catcher, Geffrey. And since then, has been consistent in his first start as a Hawkeye. That one will miss. Different inning, same result, a leadoff walk.
Yeah, walk, something that has plagued Hackett when he has come in to pitch so far this season. Put up 3 last Friday in that opener against Minnesota.
The lefty Andrew Lamb will step in, batting gloveless per usual, as Kevin Takeuchi leads off first base. Hackett's had such an interesting story as that one will trickle off the glove of Geffrey. On to second base is Takeuchi, moving up 90 feet. First runner in scoring position for either team.
And you saw Geffrey look to see if he could make that throw in time, ultimately decides not to try for it.
Now an opportunity for an RBI for Andrew Lamb. Had a solid series. Game 1 had a massive 2-run home run against UCLA in the Friday night game. 2 for 14 overall, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, and that 1 home run. As the corners will play in now for Iowa, expecting the bunt off the bat of Lamb. He will not bunt it. Another breaking ball in the dirt for ball 2.
Geffrey a bit quicker to get to that ball than the last pitch.
And now a mound visit coming from the Hawkeyes. Talk about Justin Hackett's journey. You mentioned committed to TCU out of high school, but a Winterist, Iowa native, 6'3" senior. Committed to TCU, went 3-3 in the games he pitched. Only 6 1/3 innings of work. And then he transferred to Iowa in 2024, and the rest was kind of felt like home for Hackett.
Yeah, when he entered the transfer portal, he chose Iowa over Minnesota and Nebraska, citing a desire to get closer to home, get back there. And really, for him, being back in Iowa has been great. And he's had a lot of success in Iowa as a whole. You look at his high school career, he led the state of Iowa in strikeouts and set their school record with 125 as a senior, posting the 5th lowest ERA in school history at 102.
That was Wes Obermuller you saw there. That's his first year on the staff. Last year, Iowa's national rankings improved from 123rd to 16th in ERA. Now his second season. As Lamb laces one in the right center field gap. No one will catch up to do it. It will one-hop the wall. Takeuchi easily will score around third base. Lamb with a stand-up double for the first run of the game. USC draws blood first.
Lamb once again coming up where it counts. He is no stranger to being in positions where he needs to be the one to get things started for the Trojans. Let's take a look at it there. What a beautiful swing right towards that back corner. I mean, no one can get there fast enough. The placement of that ball towards the 360 sign. I mean, come on, Andrew Lamb.
And just as soon as blood is drawn, Coach Heller will turn to the bullpen for a Band-Aid. Iowa will take out Justin Hackett just as soon as he came in, following the hit. Not a bad outing for the first career start for the Hawkeyes. When we return, we'll break down who's coming in next for Iowa. Bottom of the second inning took a bit of a turn. It started with a leadoff walk to Kevin Takeuchi. A spiked dirt ball for Iowa moved Takeuchi to second base, and Andrew Lamb hits a double in the gap. Just like that, enters Jaron Bleeker, the 6'3 sophomore, 216 pounds.
Yeah, he was the Friday starter for the past 5 weekends coming into tonight. Didn't get the start tonight after going 2 innings and giving up 5 runs last Friday. But he has stepped up big for his team after Tyler Guerin got injured against Alabama earlier this season. And it was a strong beginning for him. When he came in, he was strong and he was able to get a good start for his team. The past few 2 or 3 starts for him have been rough. Part of why he didn't start tonight, but you have to question bringing him in so early. We're just in the second here, Liam.
It seemed like a situation where the Iowa coaching staff understood a short leash for Hackett. They went to Bleeker instead. Hard not to mention this pitching staff without talking about how banged up they have been. Going into the season already, not a lot of returning production. They lost all 3 of their starters. 1 more drafted out of their bullpen, and now they're resulting in Bleeker heading in the second inning, something they didn't think would happen preseason.
Yeah, he had 8 2/3 coming into this season, and that's the 3rd most for returners on this Hawkeye squad.
First pitch from Bleeker misses wide. Maximo Martinez first at bat. 283 batting average, 28 hits on the season for the third baseman for USC. Corners plan in, expecting the bunt. Martinez flashed it on the first pitch and pulled it back. This time he'll swing away, lashes one down the right field line. It ended up in the USC dugout.
Yeah, there was a collective gasp here at Dado Field after that one went straight towards the dugout.
Avoided by Walter Urban and company. 1-1 count for Martinez. Corners remain in. Lamb leads off second base following his RBI double. That fastball misses wide.
And really, the Iowa pitching staff has been through so much. But this is just the second time that Iowa has lost all 3 weekend starters from a season under head coach Heller.
Chopped up the middle. Shortstop Schulte will fire on to first base, but Lamb advances another base. Station to station goes USC. Productive out for Maximo Martinez.
And Lamb does have that speed to him. One of those players you want at third base. We'll take another look at the swing there. Easy out at first, but does what it's supposed to do. Gets Lamb to third.
Well, Iowa with the #1 fielding percentage in the Big Ten, 7th in the country, 98.4%. Infield will play in, try to snag this run. Lamb thought about sneaking one by Carter Geffrey behind the plate. Did a good job blocking that one up. Isaac Cadena with an RBI opportunity in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0, 1 down. Lamb on third base following his RBI double that scored Takeuchi. The 1-0. Breaking ball lofted high. Cadena has had some streaks throughout the season so far. Went in a slump early season. He said, I'd been struggling at the plate, so just trying to keep things simple. Can he do it today? Not on that pitch. It finds the inside corner for strike 1.
And he may be struggling at the plate, but has no problem getting on base. He leads the team in walks and hit by pitch, so trying to get there any means necessary, even if it is out of his hands.
The TCU transfer with an early opportunity in the Friday night game. 1 of 3 games set. Another good block by Geffrey behind the dish. 3-1 count in favor of Cadena.
You see Geffrey really get after those balls. Doesn't want another missed opportunity.
Speaks to their fielding percentage. Geffrey already gunned down a runner earlier today, and it was the Big Ten leader in stolen bases, Covarrubias. Taking again is Cadena. Might speak to his patience at the plate. Again, leads the team in walks, 20 on the season. Base hit, ball four situation. One down. Andrew Lamb leads off third base. Bleeker enters the game and faces Cadena with a runner on third base. That one mashed through the right side. An RBI single for Isaac Cadena. Past the diving glove of Gable Mitchell. Lead extended for USC, 2-0.
And Mitchell's been so good at that position all year. You see the speed behind him, but the exit velocity of that ball, we'll take another look at it there. Right down the center, and Mitchell tries to get to it, doesn't get the glove out stretched far enough.
The infield was playing in. They were trying to gun down the run at the plate. Mitchell back in his normal position most likely would have easily had that for out two. But in a situation where you're stressed for runs, as are the Iowa Hawkeyes in the bottom of the second inning, got to try to gun down that runner at the plate. Cadena took advantage of it. So here comes Dean Carpentier, the 8-hitter in tonight's lineup.
Yeah, Carpentier has moved in and out of the lineup, but really has shown good on-base ability when given the opportunity.
Way outside. Jaron Bleeker was rated as the number 3 right-handed pitcher in Iowa coming out of high school. Last year, he appeared in 8 games with 4 starts on the mound. See a fastball, a breaking ball, developing a changeup throughout this offseason. Was the consistent Friday night starter as Iowa tried to switch things up this week.
And you can't talk about the changes in the Iowa pitching staff without talking about Sean Kenny. He was the previous pitching coach for Iowa. He left a week before Christmas to go to Arizona.
Last second switch up, a big result for why this squad has relied on the transfer portal throughout this season. 37-man roster features 4 graduates, 6 seniors, 3 redshirt juniors, 2 sophomores, 5 redshirt freshmen, and 12 freshmen, a very young squad.
Very young. And when you look at the breakdown like that, you gotta talk about how many of these players are from Iowa. 25 from Iowa. They do have someone on the roster who is from California, only one, but the majority coming right from within the own state.
That one leans inside and plunks Carpentier. He is one of the team leaders in hit by pitches. That'll move him to first on the team. Free pass.
You take a look at the hit there, right towards that elbow. He's now been hit 9 times this season.
9th hit by pitch of the year, and here's an intriguing guy stepping up to the plate. Diego Velasquez, rated as one of the highest recruits coming out of high school. Comes to USC as the 5th-ranked shortstop in California. Recently converted to a pitcher. He's thrown 9 innings for USC. With the recent struggles of Maddox Risky, Coach Stankiewicz says, why not give the young kid a shot? Big opportunity with Carpentier on first base following the hit by pitch. Cadena off second. RBI single for him. Bleeker kicks, delivers. Fooled Velasquez. 0-2 quickly is the freshman.
And Velasquez still getting fielding opportunities under his belt. He is perfect in 5 chances in the field so far this season, but still not always someone who gets that start or playing time.
Well, he's gotten playing time, but it's been on the mound. 9 innings pitched. Fastball runs all the way up to 98 miles per hour, but truly a shortstop. Only started in 1 game. It was last weekend versus UCLA where he scored a run. That one will be waved on and missed. For a strikeout of the day for Jaron Bleeker. Second out, a massive one for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, you can see him just taking a breath there. Got that first strikeout, but now you got to face Avery Covarrubias, who is the catalyst at the top of the Trojan lineup.
Catalyst is right. He got a leadoff walk on 4 pitches last time he was up, then caught stealing at second base. Trying to get out of the jam is Jaron Bleeker, who entered the game for Justin Hackett, who only went 1 inning pitched. Last year, Covarrubias, an all Big Ten third-team selection. This year on track for a similar result. That one lashed into center field. Chasing is Risley, and he will have some room to run it down. Avoiding the threat is Jaron Bleeker.
We're finally landing here at Iowa.
2 long balls on the season, .512 slugging percentage with 12 hits. Some power potential. Edwards works back in the 2-0 count and finds the corner for strike 1. Delgado, a graduate student, the only player from California, maybe feeling at home tonight in Southern California.
Yeah, not too far, his hometown of Monrovia.
3-1 count. One of the issues for Edwards has been his walk rate in the early season. When he gets in trouble, usually letting guys on through the free pass. Will that happen again? Not on that pitch. Delgado slices it outside and out of play.
Yeah, no one's untouchable. And you look at Edwards and what he's been able to do this season, you got to find at least some weak points there. Not that he's giving up a crazy amount, but you got to be able to watch out for those.
The 3-2 pitch. He got him. Mason Edwards stares down Delgado for his 4th punch out of today's contest.
Edwards well on his way with his strikeouts. Man, look at that swing. And just the swagger that Edwards has with that walk off the mound.
That's when it seems like he's at his best. Edwards just beams with confidence. He was a bullpen arm last year, but in line to be a starter, and he has started every Friday game for USC in this early season. Ball 1 missed to Strohmeyer there.
Yeah, he took a real big leap last season. His ERA was 7.88 and then went to 3.86, and now you look at it, it's even lower at this point in the season.
A lot of that can be credited to Sean Allen, pitching coach for USC, who has transformed a multitude of arms in the USC program coming over from Ohio State. Edwards had a scoreless streak of 29 2/3 innings pitched. Breaking ball chopped up the middle. First try for Velasquez of the day on the run. Makes it look easy at shortstop by a half step.
So Velasquez doing good early on. And I think that's something that not only the team, but Coach Stankiewicz wants to see from him in this position. Like we said before, he's only gotten one other start at shortstop so far. But he keeps making plays like that. He's going to put a real good ringer to beat out Maddox Risky for the spot.
Well, he throws 97 miles per hour on the mound, McKenna, so he's clearly got that short to first velocity to throw runners out. That one was on the run. Didn't see the full display of the crow hop. Edwards is just at 29 pitches on the night with 2 down in the top of the 3rd inning. 1-0 pitch to Swales, Ben Swales, that is, out of Tiffin, Iowa, a redshirt junior. Hitting .250 on the season. He had a great start to the year, but he's been hitless in his last 8 games. Versus the Minnesota Gophers, 0 for 3, 1K, only played in 1 game. That one clips the inside half. Another chance for a strikeout for Mason Edwards. What do you know?
Yeah, Swales has had solid extra base production, but limited starts.
1-2 down to the 9-hitter Swales. Edwards' delivery. He carved him up. Cadena to complete the strikeout. He got it. 3 up, 3 down. And now that means 9 up, 9 down for the southpaw for USC. Mason Edwards has been incredible. Hitless through 3 innings, 2-0 the score as USC maintains on top after their 2-run bottom of the second frame. It'll be Lopez. 2-0 in the bottom of the third inning. It's hard not to mention the coaches in tonight's contest. It's Andy Stankiewicz for USC.
Yeah, he really has done a good job of trying to really return the programs to their former greatness. And, you know, he went on a podcast after the loss to UCLA saying that they kind of lost their way, but that's what a good team will do, and that the team has just got to grow up and has to get better.
The perfect game midseason coach of the year. To the other side, it's Rick Heller in his 13th season as an Iowa head coach, and the Eldon, Iowa native has really transformed the program. The 20th head coach in program history, starting in 2013, 4th stop as a collegiate head coach, and he has led all 4 schools to NCAA postseason play.
And speaking of that, he's only the 2nd coach in Iowa history to lead the program to the NCAA tournament.
Lopez picks up right where he left off, a single up the middle. He lined out hard to the left fielder last time up. That one 101 miles per hour off the bat of the first baseman.
Big production from Lopez.
Adrian Lopez leads off with a single. Now Augie Lopez's turn. Dipped his shoulder on a fastball on the inner half, possibly trying to get his 9th home run out of Dado Field. This time he'll wait on the first pitch as he takes it outside. Jaron Bleeker still in the game for Iowa. Came in the 2nd inning in relief for Justin Hackett, who only just went 1 inning pitched. Seems like Bleeker will be the answer for quite some time for the Hawkeyes.
I think you got to rely on Bleeker for at least a little bit longer than you did with Hackett. You got your feet wet with Hackett, saw what he was able to do, didn't like it, pulled him out, and now trying to put Bleeker in for longer.
2-0 pitch, looking for one spot, and he got it. Lopez in the right field. Around second comes Adrian. Augie will slam on the brakes at first. First to third goes Adrian Lopez. The chains are moving for USC.
That they are, and the Lopez effect has been huge. They're one of the 2 biggest run producers on the team, and, you know, when they're hitting back-to-back in the order, they can be very hard to beat. You take a look at that hit there, right there to right field.
Back-to-back singles. You know what they say, a 2-0 count, you're waiting on 1 pitch, 1 spot. That's how you're taught coming up. Augie Lopez did exactly that right there. Fastball on the inside half, turned and burned on one to right field.
Yeah, when they're both going, USC very hard to stop. And you really have to watch how Iowa pitches around them. Do they attack Adrian to get to Augie or vice versa?
And with that righty-lefty dynamic at the top of the lineup, Adrian, of course, being righty, Augie lefty, as that one will get by the glove of Geffrey. To the plate is Adrian, diving head first. He's safe. Another run comes in to score as the ball deflected off the glove of Geffrey. 3-0 now as the Lopezes produce a run themselves.
So Geffrey put into position yet again to make a big play for his team. He goes for the swing. We'll take a look at it here. It goes off of his glove. He gets behind it, tries to throw it up to Bleeker, but because of the positioning, he's on the ground trying to get it up, and it goes past Bleeker.
Bunt first situation now for Takeuchi. He pulled it back and tried to slash it. What a play from the cleanup hitter. Not something you see normally for your 4th spot. Takeuchi almost executed that to perfection, and now Geffrey will try to send out some signals. The run comes in to score. That might be ruled a pass ball. No, it's ruled a wild pitch instead for Bleeker. High fastball. 3-0 now the score. Takeuchi with a chance for more. Beautiful breaking ball dropped in by Bleeker.
That was some excellent rhyming by you, Liam, and I think you can translate that right over there to the Trojans, who are really in rhythm right now.
I like that. Unintentional, McKenna, but I appreciate it. Kevin Takeuchi in a 1-2 count. Augie Lopez moved to second on the wild pitch. That one misses outside on a fastball. Basically seen fastball breaking ball for Bleeker on the mound. USC slowly beginning to pick it up to start the bottom of the third inning. Still nobody out. That pitch in the dirt, swung on and missed, but it gets by Geffrey again. Takeuchi will head to first base on the drop, third strike. Lopez moves up to third base, first and third one more time.
So not to sound like a broken record, Liam, but Geffrey once again put in a position to make a good play for his team. And now the second time in this inning, he's unable to do so.
That was a big breaking ball, 8 inches of horizontal break. It got Takeuchi swinging. Unfortunate for Bleeker that it got by Geffrey. Free pass for the USC center fielder. And here's a guy who already has an RBI double in this game in Andrew Lamb. And he slams one to right field right on the nub of Strohmeyer. Tagging up is Lopez. Good throw to the plate. It's cut off by Wolf. Another run comes in to score. Wasting no time is Andrew Lamb.
USC really taking advantage of the speed there. And Lamb, powerful swing. You see it go towards that right field, caught to get Lamb out, and then trying to make the throw in time. But when you have that speed of Augie Lopez, no shot there for Iowa.
Lopez was all over that one. It was hit 100 miles per hour off the bat. He was going the second it was caught. 4-0 now the score at Dado Field, the first of a 3-game series. Mason Edwards on the other side has gone 9 up, 9 down. Trojans trying to find him some support. Maximo Martinez with an 0-1 count, 1 down. Bleeker's pitch, missed inside. It brushed Martinez off the plate. Bleeker appeared in 8 games last season, 4 starts on the mound. He had a 2-0 record with a 5.19 ERA. Another Iowa native, as are most in the Hawkeyes lineup. 1-1 pitch, slashed out of play.
Yeah, he did have a limited role as a freshman, but a lot of that was because of how deep Iowa's staff was last year. And we've talked about it at length, but so much changing for this Iowa pitching staff. And Bleeker, one of the players who has had to step up.
Maximo Martinez has had quite the season for USC so far. Obviously, his standout in the Cal Poly series. He went 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs, 3 runs, 3 doubles, and a grand slam. But he's also been second in the club in OBP, on base percentage, that is, at .419. Kind of finds his way on base consistently. Does the third baseman from Hawthorne, California. 3-2 opportunity, and he might prove me right with 1 down.
He has been walked a lot this season, 18 so far.
Takeuchi over at first base has 8 stolen bases on the year and a 3-2 count. Will he take off? We'll take a look on Bleeker's delivery. He doesn't deliver, possibly thinking the same thing as us. McKenna throws over to first base.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that Takeuchi, no stranger to making the sprint over to his left.
3-2-1 down, bottom of the third inning. USC already plated 2. That one Takeuchi was running on, tapped foul.
He's just warming the legs up. He's ready to go.
He was dealing with a knee injury earlier in the year. Thought for some time he might have to DH. But by the beginning of the season, Kevin said he was ready to go. And he has proven all of that. 3-2 delivery. That one got him. Jaron Bleeker comes back with a 92-mile-per-hour fastball for out number 2.
I mean, and not only was Kevin Takeuchi dealing with that knee issue, he was also limited last year due to a shoulder separation. He saw his production drop but it has been quite the different story this year, coming back from injuries on the upper and lower half of the body.
3-year starter for USC, started out of the gate his freshman year, now in his junior season. That one in the dirt. Takeuchi will have a chance to show off those wheels. He heads to second base as once again, Geffrey behind the dish having trouble dealing with the breaking ball.
Yeah, and it was all too easy for Takeuchi. Not saying he wasn't sprinting all out, but you could see that Geffrey wasn't going to try and make the play.
Cadena is the sixth batter faced of the inning by Bleeker. 1-0-2 down for Isaac. The TCU transfer fanned on and missed. There was another TCU transfer on the mound earlier tonight. It was Justin Hackett. He was substituted out for Iowa for the righty arm of Jaron Bleeker, who you see in the game now. Takeuchi takes a healthy lead off second base. 1-1 pitch, a check swing, tapped down the third base line into the Iowa dugout.
And Cadena, the two-time transfer, he was at Ohio State. And Jewett said they actually tried to recruit him out of high school, so wanted him to come play for the Trojans early on in his career. It took him 2 other schools for him to eventually come play in Southern California.
The leadoff man for Iowa. Mason Edwards has gone 9 up, 9 down to start this game, and that one will prevent the streak. A hit by pitch off the bat of Gable Mitchell, and not one of those guys you want to put on first base.
No, definitely not. And you could see Edwards' face after hitting him. Not exactly happy with where that was placed. And Mitchell sees the ball come and turns his shoulder and flings the bat.
Well, for Mitchell, breaking ball that slipped out of the hands of Edwards. Want to have the chance to get a base runner. Haven't at all today. The first for the Iowa Hawkeyes, coming all the way in the top of the 4th inning. Edwards tried to go back to the breaking ball. Missed high, floated out of his hands. This 1-2 combo in the Iowa lineup has been so dangerous all season.
Dangerous all season, but hasn't gotten a lot of production here against the Trojans. But really one of the best 1-2 punches.
Heater inside. 2 long innings for USC hitting-wise. Might have got Edwards out of his rhythm on the mound. As Isaac Cadena will take a sec to chat to his left-handed pitcher. And out comes Sean Allen as well. Caleb Wolf was the 4th in the nation in hardest to strike out. He was struck out in his first at-bat. Speaks to the power of Edwards. First on the team in batting average for Caleb Wolf. First in hits, second in runs. Tied for first in RBIs. Guy who can do it all.
Yeah, really just a disciplined bat from him. You talk about how hard it is to strike him out. 5 strikeouts in 123 at-bats before coming into this game.
Make it 6 today after Edwards sat him down in the first at-bat. 4-0, 2-0 count. Following the mound visit, Edwards finds his release point at 89 on the corner. Edwards is so interesting from the left side. He'll sit it around 89 to 90, but when he needs that extra 2 to 3 miles per hour, he can ramp it up. Saw that earlier in the second inning. That one missed outside.
And some boos over here at Dado Field after that one.
Home plate umpire Scott Letendre had that a ball outside. 3-1 count as Gable Mitchell leads off first base. The first base runner of the day for the Hawkeyes. That one finds the corner. This Hawkeyes team can run. Gable Mitchell at first base, 8 for 11 on stolen bases. See if he decides to test Cadena as the first base runner of the day. That one got him leaning. The throw to first base just back in time is Mitchell. What a move by Mason Edwards.
And you could hear the collective grunt over here at Dado. A good attempt from Edwards. Not able to get there fast enough.
The only reason why you wouldn't run in this situation is most likely because of the left-handed arm of Edwards. Nonetheless, Mitchell will take off. Strike him out, throw him out opportunity. They got him. Caleb Wolf swings through it, and Cadena backs up Edwards. Strike him out, throw him out.
And the look back from Edwards after Cadena made that throw. You see the swing, Cadena's fast with it, gets it in time, and then Edwards immediately goes to congratulate Cadena on making the play.
Nothing like a double play produced by your pitcher and catcher. Mason Edwards blows a fastball by Caleb Wolf, and Cadena behind the dish catches Gable Mitchell trying to steal. Second strikeout of the day for Wolf. That kind of feels like a momentum shifter for USC. Hawkeyes finally had some confidence trying to put a runner in scoring position, and he's gunned down.
Now, we've talked about how hard it is to strike Wolf out, but you also have to look at the stolen base dimension for Iowa. The Hawkeyes will run, and so it's a major tactical storyline and so important for Cadena to be able to get those throws out in time.
1-1 count to Risley. That one sky high into the Dado night sky. Lamb had to circle it a little bit. Squeezes for out 3. Avoiding the leadoff hit by pitch, Edwards does technically go 12 up, 12 down. Not a clean inning, but no hits, no runners left on base for the Hawkeyes. Edwards is rolling. Check out the strike him out, throw him out from Cadena. All U.S. Jaron Bleeker remains in the game for the Hawkeyes. Right-handed pitcher came in relief for Justin Hackett. Didn't have his best stuff last outing against Minnesota. Had 3 pretty consistent starts to start the year. And then against Minnesota, went 2 innings pitched, 5 runs given up, 5 hits, 2 walks. Dean Carpentier steps in, first pitch taken for strike 1.
Bleeker trying to change the storyline for himself. Hasn't been able to quite do so far.
Carpentier leads the team in hit by pitches. He was hit last at bat, his 8th of the season, 9th, pardon me. Guy who played in the Cape Cod last summer. 273 batting average. 0-2 count quickly to Bleeker, who's up to 44 pitches on the day. Bleeker is kicking pitch. He got him on a high fastball. High cheese sits down Dean Carpentier for out number 1 for the Hawkeyes.
This strikeout for Bleeker, so able to get those strikeouts in there. We'll take a look at Dean Carpentier's swing here.
Went high above the sling plane. Carpentier likes to elevate. As Diego Velasquez chops one to the second baseman, Gable Mitchell. Velasquez will have to wait for his first hit as a Trojan. Hit sharply right at the second baseman. 2 up, 2 down quickly.
Iowa now playing with the speed that the Trojans were playing with to begin this game.
There hasn't been a clean inning all day for Iowa, even in the first, where only 3 batters were faced. For Justin Hackett, Covarrubias reached on a 4-pitch walk and then was caught stealing. It's been a runner caught stealing for either squad tonight. Gable Mitchell in last inning. Beautifully executed, strike him out, throw him out. These are the times where it feels like sometimes USC goes to sleep on the hitting side of things. Hawkeyes have the chance to take advantage of it. Jaron Bleeker with the opportunity to settle in.
Yeah, USC not extremely known for their level of offense and have been known to leave it a little bit out there.
Well, Bleeker can get up there in pitch count. His season high 93 pitches. That was against Lindenwood on March 6th. 1-2 count, 2 down for Covarrubias. Bleeker looking for his first clean inning, and he has the upper hand against the USC second baseman. That pitch chopped once again to Mitchell. 2 tries in the inning, 2 outs in the inning, and that's 3 total. Iowa with a much-needed clean 1-2-3 game set. Talk about game on. It has been nothing but for the southpaw for USC, Mason Edwards. Carter Geffrey, the cleanup hitter, will take strike 1. Allowed his first base runner of the day last inning, but then a beautifully executed strike him out, throw him out behind the plate.
Yeah, Mason Edwards really trying to return to form here. And it still goes to say that his outing against UCLA wasn't awful. But like we've said all night, Mason Edwards has truly set a different standard. I mean, there's a reason why he's been named to the National Pitcher of the Year watch list.
Perfect game, National Pitcher of the Week once, and then overall National Pitcher of the Year watch list for number 30. Quickly ahead 1-2 in the count. 1-2, no down. Edwards looking for another K. Appeal to first base. He got him. Mason Edwards racking up the Ks. That one his 6th of the day.
And what a difference it's been from him. You look at last season, 32 and 2/3 inning pitch in 2025. 46 batters was the number he was able to strike out. Walked just 13. He's struggled a little bit with the walk so far this year, but overall has been dominant across the board.
So correction, that was his 7th strikeout of the day, and all of them have been swinging. 1-0, 1 down. Cooper Schulte digs in, popped out to the second baseman. That one, a nasty breaking ball that Schulte went around on.
Edwards known for throwing that breaking ball when least expected.
Cooper Schulte, the new London, Iowa native, trying to work another base runner for the Hawkeyes. They had one briefly, and then all of a sudden it vanished out of thin air off the arm of Isaac Cadena.
Schulte, another one of those reliable guys for Iowa, has started every game at shortstop.
Edwards got him once again swinging. 8th punch out of the day.
Real electric stuff from Mason Edwards, and what else can you expect? You have that outing against UCLA, and really bring that into your game today, focusing in on the here and now, and doing what you do so well.
Career high in strikeouts is 12. That one is his 8th.
And Edwards, no stranger to double-digit strikeouts either. Multiple on the season so far.
Breaking ball dropped in, strike 1. First 2 batters, Geffrey and Schulte, surrendered by the strikeout. Can a hat trick happen for Mason Edwards in the top of the 5th inning with a 4-0 lead? Fly out of play for Joey Narrett. In early 2026, Narrett recorded 8 extra base hits in his first 16 hits total. An impact power bat. He's also 8th in the Big Ten in stolen bases at 11. And he leads the Big Ten in triples. 0 for 2, 2 down. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Mason Edwards with a hat trick of strikeouts in the top of the 5th inning. You got to be kidding me. 30 has got his stuff on a Friday night at Dedeaux Field. His 9th strikeout of the day. Edwards with a 4-0 lead on Big Ten Plus.
Really, if you're Iowa, you have to figure out how to solve him. What are they going to do to counteract it?
Lopez chops the first pitch up the middle. In the hole is Schulte. Good stretch at first base by Wolf. What a play from the Hawkeyes, showing off their Big Ten leading in fielding percentage.
Yeah, can you say the splits? I feel like we're at a gymnastics competition with that play there. You see Wolf. We'll take a look at it here. Practically the splits. I mean, that's pretty dang close, Liam.
Reaching out for that. Schulte, credit to him. Going up the middle, ranging on a chopper. A lot of topspin on that off the bat of Adrian Lopez, as he will be retired for out one. Bottom of the fifth. The Lopez's produced 2 runs of their own last time they went back-to-back. This time, it'll only be up to Augie to do that, and he certainly can. 8 home runs on the season.
I mean, not only 8 home runs, but .602 slugging percentage. And when he gets a pitch to drive, bad things can happen for the other team, and we've seen it.
Felt like that Maryland series was one of the turning points for Augie Lopez throughout this season.
I mean, that Maryland series, one of the biggest series of any player in the country so far. 3 for 3, 3 home runs, 9 RBI. Incredible series for Lopez.
Augie Lopez listed as a catcher on the roster, as he'll take the 3-0 pitch for a strike. Nips the corner. Listed as a catcher, but obviously with the catcher depth of USC, he's had to find his way somewhere else, and it has been through his bat in the DH position. Looks at that one high and away, a base on balls, another base runner as a result of Augie Lopez.
And you talk about the depth of the catcher. Lopez has never even had a start as catcher for USC, really coming into his own position with that DH.
6 listed catchers on the roster, really 3 or 4 who consistently catch. That is Cadena, Ibarra, Tejeda, and occasionally Lamb will get behind the dish. Saw that more last season. Takeuchi, first pitch, chopped to the third baseman. On to Mitchell on a first base. It'll not be in time. Takeuchi beats it out, but a fielder's choice. Hawkeyes tag 1 of the 2.
So Trojans able to stay alive to extend the inning. You see the swing there. Right over there to Swales, who has to jump up to catch it. Wolf tries to make the play in time, but just a little too much behind it.
Here comes the powerful bat of Andrew Lamb with 2 down and a runner on first base. Bleeker's still in there. He's consistently been chopping at some middle relief innings. Came in back all the way in the second inning. And already, number 30 has gone 3 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 2 runs, but no offensive production on his end. 4-0 lead for USC. Still the possibility to come back. Lamb, a towering fly ball, shallow left field. 3 Hawkeyes converge. Schulte calls everyone off and squeezes for out 3.
And some good.
Well, maybe it's a chance for Bleeker to make his own. He was pulled from the Friday night spot. The whole idea for the Hawkeyes was Bleeker would come in long relief in the bullpen. Justin Hackett had a short leash tonight. He only went 1 inning after he gave up 1 run, immediately pulled out of the game. And Bleeker has limited the damage. Still a very attainable score for Iowa, 4-0 in the top of the 6th inning. However, if Mason Edwards continues to throw like this, it will be quite hard for Iowa to come back.
Yeah, Iowa really needing to learn how to get around Edwards and really respond to the way he's pitching.
Chopped at Diego Velasquez, his second chance, a high throw. Lopez remained on the bag.
Yeah, you see Lopez have to reach for the ball. It almost looks like he gets off the bag, but able to keep that foot down. We'll take another look at it here. Now the throw hard over to first. He does make a little jump, but able to put that foot and really plant it.
Adrian Lopez has played all over the place this season. Started the year at third base. Once Maximo Martinez kind of earned his stripes, they moved him around to second base. Now he's ended up at first. Kellen Strohmeyer will have the opportunity to try for another base runner. There's only been 1 tonight for Iowa. It was Gable Mitchell, the 8 hitter. Another one of those Iowa natives. Baseball representative for Iowa on the Iowa Student Athletic Advisory Committee and the team captain for the 2026 season.
He got off to a pretty good start to the season. After those first 2 games, he opened the rest of the season with a 6-game hit streak.
90-mile-per-hour fastball just barely misses the corner. 2-1 count to Strohmeyer, hitting .314 on the year. Iowa was tested early in the season. They had a couple big top 25 opponents they played: UCLA, Alabama, Oregon State.
And Alabama just broke into the ranking. One of those tough teams. They played them at the Frisco Classic, and Iowa had a hard time there. Played 3 different opponents, including Houston. Lost 2 out of the 3 games they played.
Here comes the second base runner of the day as Kellen Strohmeyer takes ball 4 on the outside corner. 3 pitches straight, 3 fastballs, all missed glove side for Edwards.
So once again, it's the first batter up for Edwards that gets a little iffy. We'll see how he responds to batter number 2.
Edwards has thrown 61 pitches. Gavin Lordson getting loose in the bullpen. Seems a little premature right now for Edwards, maybe just getting loose. Saw Lordson in the midweek go 1 inning. Ben Swales with a runner on first base and 1 down. Breaking ball in the dirt. Edwards might be thinking what most are, the possibility for a double play opportunity to get out of this small jam with the runner on first base. Strohmeyer does lead the team in stolen bases. He's second in the Big Ten. That one lashed out to right field. It'll fall. The first hit of the day for the Hawkeyes. There goes the no-hitter. The 9-hitter, Ben Swales, unexpected hero, comes out, sits back on a fastball on the outside corner, hits it out to right field.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Limited production for Swales, but able to break that no-hitter against Mason Edwards and brings up Mitchell, someone who can be very dangerous with 2 runners on.
Well, Edwards has a flair for no-hitters. He won 7 no-hit innings in one of the outings this season. No-hitter no longer on the table, maybe some pressure off of him. But a taller task ahead with runners on first and second and one of the most dangerous hitters in the Big Ten, Gable Mitchell, up to the dish.
And we've talked about his number 2 and Caleb Wolf being the 4th hardest player to strike out, but Mitchell's the 5th hardest player to strike out in the nation. There's a reason why this guy has led off every single game for the Hawkeyes.
Mound visit, much needed for Mason Edwards. Following a walk to Strohmeyer, Swales with the first hit of the day for Iowa. And now the leadoff hitter, Gable Mitchell. Gable Mitchell, another one of those captains for Iowa. Went 4 for 13 in the series versus Minnesota, including 1 long ball, 3 RBIs, 3 runs. He was on that Iowa team last year, close to getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, that he was. He was Iowa's everyday shortstop for that season and had strong numbers across 225 at-bats. He led last year's teams in hits and total bases.
Advantage goes to Mitchell in a 2-0 count. Lefty-lefty matchup, runners on first and second. Following the mound visit from Cadena, sky high, it'll go behind the newly renovated press box at Dado Field.
Don't want to damage the press box before it's done being completed.
Two, 1 down. Edwards trying to work back in the count. Finds it at the knees of Gable Mitchell. 5'9" frame. Such a good leadoff hitter all season long. 7th in the Big Ten with a .385 batting average. 2-2. On the corner, strike 3, got him looking. Huge strikeout for Mason Edwards with runners on first and second. And he strikes out another one of the hardest in the nation to strike out.
A great response here from Edwards. They had that mound meeting trying to get Mason Edwards to kind of shake it off, and he does just that, getting yet another strikeout.
Double digits for Mace. That is his 10th strikeout of the day. Now, yet again, another dangerous hitter in Caleb Wolf. That one a little shaky. Throw to Velasquez at second base. He was behind the bag, had to go in front of the runner, Strohmeyer.
Yeah, don't want to let your runner get hit on the face.
Wolf played 2 seasons at Southeastern Community College, worked his way to Iowa, where he has family ties. Son of Troy Wolf, former Hawkeye pitcher. Since he got to Iowa, he has just mashed the baseball. Hit .364 last year and 51 hits. 1-0, brushes inside, almost hit him. Wolf was expecting it, stayed in the batter's box. Once again, a 2-0 count to one of the top 2 hitters.
And we've talked about Caleb Wolf and Gable Mitchell. And you mentioned Troy Wolf, his father. Looking at Mitchell's father, Brian Mitchell, he also played baseball for the Hawkeyes the same years as Wolf.
Two-one count. Hawkeye fans who made the trip had to get on a connection fight, not liking what they're seeing from Scott Letendre. That one, no debate, a swing and a miss on a fastball. 2-2 count, 2 down. It'll be the biggest delivery of the night for Mason Edwards. 10 strikeouts working on, and he's got the best hitter in the Iowa lineup in Caleb Wolf. The pitch punches him out. Strike 3. Mason Edwards delivers once again his 11th strikeout of the day. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. 4-0 the score. USC on top of the Hawkeyes. Edwards avoids the trouble. Now it's time for the USC Bats with a chance on Big Ten Plus.
Face off.
Maximo Martinez, Isaac Cadena, Dean Carpentier. 6, 7, 8 in the USC lineup with a 4-0 cushion. Surely like to extend their lead, though. I want a breaking ball for strike 1. Strike 2, pardon me. 0-2 count, none down. And how about Bleeker still in this game, eating up some innings?
Yeah, Bleeker doing an excellent job of staying in there. Still staying alive. He's getting those strikeouts where he needs them. And that's something that Iowa wanted him to be able to do. Doing that well. 5 strikeouts on the night so far.
Flied off the end of the bat, a nubber into shallow left field. Schulte races on for out 1.
How about the sprint from Schulte? That's the second big play that he's been able to make. Trying to sprint to catch that ball. And once again, communication huge in that left corner.
Isaac Cadena came up with the big RBI single back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Struck out his last at bat. Facing Bleeker. The transfer from TCU takes on the right-handed pitcher out of Iowa.
Cadena hitting better this year than he did last year at TCU. He hit .235, but did hit 8 home runs. So you have those big moments, but not being able to be as consistent, and now trying to become consistent here with the Trojans.
1-1 pitch is lashed through the 5.5 hole on the left side. Cadena gets another single. He's racing for second base, following the bobble by Narrett in left field, and he makes it. Cadena with some heads-up base running, following a sharply hit single through the left side. Well, it is interesting, McKenna. You talk about it. He hasn't had the power production quite yet, but he can do this right here.
I mean, it is just excellent. You see how the exit speed, 86 miles per hour off the bat. And then the moment that Cadena senses an opportunity to send to second, he just full sprints and makes it there in time.
Taking advantage. Saw that in the UCLA series a couple times from the Bruins. Short in between balls where the outfielder has to range to either side of them. UCLA takes advantage of that, a speedy team. Cadena taking a page out of their book and getting into scoring position with one down.
And that's something that head coach Andy Stinkowitz said that he really wanted to see, turning those zeros into ones and ones into two. And it's plays like that from Cadena trying to take advantage of any opportunity he can.
1-1, one down. Dean Carpentier hit by a pitch. Team lead 9th. He's got a .229 batting average. Hit the first home run at Dado Field, the newly renovated ballpark.
Housewarming present, one might say.
Runner in scoring position, Cadena leads off second base. Carpentier not fooled by the off-speed from Bleeker. Bleeker worked his way up to 68 pitches now. And it seems like for the Hawkeyes, Bleeker will be the answer in mid-relief for the time being. 2-1, chopped on the ground to the shortstop. Schulte has made every play he's had today. He does again. Wolf over at first base, once again getting agile on the bag. Cadena had to hold up considering that ball hit to the left side.
Yeah, I mean, Liam, there's a reason why Schulte has gotten the start at shortstop for every game this year, and it's the fast plays like that to first.
So now Bleeker has gone 4 2/3 of an inning pitched. 4 hits and just 2 runs allowed, and one of them wasn't earned. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk.
So doing pretty well for tonight's reliever in Bleeker. And it almost makes you question, should he have gotten the start tonight?
That's what most Hawkeyes fans are, I'm sure, are wondering. Diego Velasquez with a big cut doesn't connect. Velasquez still looking for his first hit as a Trojan. The freshman lefty, 6'1", one of the most highly touted recruits in the country. Plug and play today in the shortstop position. Another breaking ball that was waved on and missed.
And for Bleeker, you come into the season not expecting to be a starter at all. Get those 5 starts in a row and are now playing like you want that start again.
Velasquez, 1-2, 2 down. Last chance to get Cadena in from second base. That one a fastball high. Velasquez has been fooled on the breaking ball twice in this at-bat so far, swinging and missing at 2 of them. Possibly a setup pitch with that high fastball. 2-2, 2 out. Bleeker trying to get through another scoreless inning. Diego delivers down the right field line. First hit as a Trojan will be a 2 RBI double. In standing and easy is Diego Velasquez. How about your first hit as a Trojan for the freshman?
Velasquez getting in there, like you said, Liam, first hit as a Trojan, and it could not have come at a better time. He had those 2 fake outs, able to connect on this swing. Man, right towards those back banners in the back corner, and Diego Velasquez makes it to second base.
So correct with the sequencing. He went with the high fastball to set up the breaking ball. This time, though, Diego Velasquez not fooled by it. Pulls it down the right field line. Keep that baseball. First hit as a Trojan for Diego.
And that was with 103 exit speed. Not a bad way to have your first hit.
Not at all. All over that one. Pulled it down the right field line. 5-0 the score now. USC with the lead. Avery Covarrubias back up to the top. It'll already be his 4th time up in this game. In the bottom of the 6th inning. Bleeker surrenders his first run in 2 innings. Had 2 clean ones. Now Covarrubias kind of drags that one to the first baseman in the air. Wolf camped under it. Catches for out 3, but not before Diego Velasquez. And they got caught up in a midweek matchup this week, a loss to UC Santa Barbara. Iowa had a midweek matchup scheduled that was eventually canceled. Some bad weather in Iowa. Miles Risley with a 1-0 count. Mason Edwards heads back out there. Gavin Lawrenson was up in the USC bullpen for a little bit. Turns out they're going to stick with the southpaw after he worked out of a jam. Iowa had runners on first and second last inning. Nothing to show for it. Edwards heads back out. Had a little bit of a command issue, but seems to be finding his groove, finishing off the last inning, striking out the 4th and 5th hardest batters in the country to strike out.
Yeah, Edwards certainly finding his footing there and really getting back into his rhythm. Something he'll look to continue after the previous break and bring into this inning.
Risley, Geffrey, and Schulte, 3-4-5 in the Hawkeyes lineup. If there's any time to get things started for Iowa, it seems to be like right now. Edwards 2-2. Got him looking once again. Tied for a career high 12th strikeout of the day for the left-hander.
Edwards has only had 12 strikeouts once before. He's posted 11 3 times this season. They came 3 times in a row against Rice, at Cal Poly, and against Illinois. But those 12 strikeouts against Washington.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Edwards has just upped his career high in strikeouts throughout the season. He started this year with his career high being 7. He topped it in his first start at 9. Moved up to 10, moved up to 11, moved up to 12. Has the possibility to move up to 13 with Carter Geffrey at the plate. 1-0 pitch, right by the bat of Geffrey.
Edwards certainly pitching as such. You see the 92 release speed off of that one. Looking for another strikeout.
1-1 down. That one cut on and missed once again. 1 pitch away from a career high in strikeouts for Mason Edwards. The left-handed pitcher has been excellent. Only allowed 1 hit on the night. Choking up is Geffrey. The 0-1-2. He got him. Career high in strikeouts for Mason Edwards. Make it 13 on a backdoor breaking ball. He got him looking.
And Edwards just does it again. A new career high yet again. Now that lucky number 13. We'll take a look at it. What a pitch from Mason Edwards. Continues to prove again and again that not only is he the best pitcher in the Big Ten, but he continues to better himself.
Career high in punch-outs. It doesn't look like Mason is slowing down.
And you see a little shakiness from Edwards early on, but his command has much improved in these later innings.
That one, another breaking ball dropped in, going for another hat trick. He already has 1 inning with 3 strikeouts in a row. USC fans starting to get involved. They understand what's happening. 0-2 count. Way high with the fastball.
And you talk about the USC fans getting involved. Collective groan after that one. They were looking for that 3rd strike.
Can Mason Edwards extend his career-high strikeouts to 14? Just tap foul off the bat of Schulte. Once again, that wicked breaking ball off the left arm. Already 2 strikeouts in the inning on the 3 and 4 hitters. Mason Edwards looking for his 3rd, his 14th of the night. It won't be on that one. Tap to the second baseman, Covarrubias. In time to first base. Nonetheless, it's a 1-2-3 inning. A career high in strikeouts for Mason Edwards. Number 30 has got his stuff tonight for USC. He's been dialed up all day for the Trojans. No runs allowed through 7 innings pitched. He did a really good job eating some middle innings. They'll go to a new arm now, the left-hander Carter Wilcox out of Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, a true freshman lefty. He's seen action in 7 games. This is his first collegiate season, like you said, Liam, true freshman. And he does have 2 wins to his name. He has a high ERA, 11.57, but a big part of his game, walks. Walks have been the issue. You look at his strikeout rate, it is promising, but you don't want to have the walks really eat up at you. 8 so far this season in really limited appearances. And now he has started a game. 1 start on the season so far. But you look at that ERA, 11.57. It'll be hard against the Trojan offense that has been producing.
Well, again, to your point for Iowa, last year's arms for Iowa put up a 4.16 ERA last season. It was good for 16th best in the country. It was off the hands of Wes Obermuller, first year on the staff as the director of player development, pitching coach, if you call it. But nearly every pitcher that made that happen is gone. A lot of guys transferring in, so a lot of movement around the Hawkeyes team. And you got to think that leads to some new arms being tried out. Wilcox will get a shot tonight in the bottom of the 7th following the 7th inning stretch.
You talk about Obermuller. He's actually the father of a former Iowa pitcher in Cade Obermuller. He was drafted by the Phillies 2025. But we talked about the family ball for the Hawkeyes earlier. Brian Mitchell, who played baseball. Troy Wolf, who was a former pitcher for the Hawkeyes. Going further, Cooper Schulte is a son of former Iowa pitcher Justin Schulte. And Maddox Frese, who is going to be pitching tomorrow night, is a son of another former Iowa pitcher. And get this, Brian Mitchell, Troy Wolf, Nate Freese, and Wes Obermuller were all teammates. And not only just teammates back in 1997 and 1999, they were all roommates together. And now, having their sons at the same time playing on the same Iowa Hawkeyes team.
Seems like I was very family-oriented.
I mean, when you have as many returning players and as many from the state of Iowa, 25, the large majority in your lineup. The next highest is 3 from Wisconsin. So 25 players from Iowa. You got to love the baseball familial style over there.
Iowa City, a familiar place for Iowa baseball players. Adrian Lopez goes down on strikes. First batter faced for Carter Wilcox. It only took him 3 pitches.
So Wilcox getting a clean look early against one of the best hitters for USC.
And part of the reason why Wilcox might have entered this contest is because of this guy right here, Hawkeyes Lopez, the left-handed bat for USC. Picked up another hit tonight and then a walk. First pitch, lefty-lefty matchup, misses low. Geffrey grabs it out of the ground.
And you look at Lopez, it's very much boom or bust for him. He is one of the more strikeout-prone bats on the team, but the power production there more than compensates.
Floating breaking ball fooled Lopez. If it weren't for the 0 for 3 performance for UC Santa Barbara, it would have been a 7-game on-base streak for Hawkeyes Lopez. Did go 0 for 3 on Tuesday, though. That one was an interesting game for USC. UCSB, one of the better pitching teams in the country. USC unable to get their offense going. Gavin Lawrenson started that game. He only went 1 inning pitch, though. And then Chase Harrell came in relief.
And you look at UC Santa Barbara, the Trojans had to face off against them 2 weeks in a row. They had faced off against them the previous Tuesday and narrowly took the win 7-6, but ultimately fell in the second matchup this week, excuse me.
Strike three at the knees to Lopez. Wilcox enters the game. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts.
So Wilcox coming in and doing exactly what he's meant to do. Strike called there. And it's a quick 2 out.
Wilcox holds the league strikeout record of 98 in the Centennial League in Aurora, Colorado. (102) down. Kevin Takeuchi, the last chance for USC to do some damage in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And Takeuchi, one of those guys who you want to have be that guy. He was named the top prospect in the West Coast League with the Corvallis Knights back in the summer of 2024 and has been a true slugger ever since.
Not a typical cleanup hitter. He does have some power in his bat. Usually when you think of a 4-spot guy, though, you think of a bigger bopper. 5'10", 180 for Takeuchi. He's made it work all season long. He was moved around in that series as that one went towards the head for Wilcox. 86-mile-per-hour fastball.
Takeuchi with the good duck, and it will draw quite the reaction from the crowd here at Dado.
Just means it's a 3-1 count for the third baseman. That one brushes inside again. And onto first base heads Takeuchi.
Yeah, from this angle, it looks like it might have hit the foot. Hard to tell exactly. We'll try and take another look at it here. I'll slow it down for you. Goes right towards that back foot.
Pinch hitter enters the game now. It's Jack Basir in for Andrew Lamb.
Jack Basir, another one of those well-traveled players. Stops at Pepperdine and TCU. He delivered one of the season's biggest individual moments with a walk-off 2-run homer against CSU Bakersfield.
Takeuchi swiped second on the first pitch. He was all over Wilcox's delivery. Breaking ball first pitch to Basir. Takes it and runs with it, following the walk.
Takeuchi, once again, no stranger to stealing those bases.
That'll be his 9th of the year. Jack Basir pinch hit 1 time against UCLA. Currently hitting .289 on the season. 5 home runs. Hits lefties extremely well. And with Andrew Lamb due up, avoiding the lefty-lefty matchup, they bring in Jack Basir. A smart decision from Coach Andy Stankiewicz.
Basir had one of his best seasons last year for USC. Career high 7 home runs and a .513 slugging percentage.
1-2 count. So that cutter swung through by Basir. 44% of his hits were extra base hits last season. Got that power potential. A violent swing as that one chopped up the middle into center field. Takeuchi will get the wave from Coach Stankiewicz. The throw will be cut off again from Wolf. Jack Basir with a pinch hit single that scores another insurance run for USC.
And Kevin Takeuchi really letting that speed power him through. I mean, look at right down the center. And you see the play attempt to happen, but Kevin Takeuchi already to home plate by the time the ball gets anywhere close to the infield.
And now Walter Urban will pinch run for Jack Basir, defensive replacement. 6 foot, 190-pound freshman for USC. See if he tries to swipe a bag. Takeuchi did it on the first pitch of the at-bat against Wilcox. Throw back to first base. It gets by the first baseman, Wolf. Urban moves on to second base. He didn't even attempt to steal, but he got to second off a wild throw from Wilcox.
And some great seizing of opportunity from Urban. And I mean, there's a reason why Coach Stankwitz calls him a sleeper in the freshman class.
He was ranked the 10th best outfielder in the state of California. But certainly as a freshman, hard to make your own, especially in a lineup as talented and as veteran as the USC lineup is. Popped up. It'll stay in shallow center field. Called off by everyone, and catching it is Risley. Schulte wanted that one. Risley takes it outfield.
Hawkeyes have overcome deficits to win 123 games since the start of the 2017 season and have posted 21 walk-offs. And look, Liam, 40 of those victories have come with Iowa trailing or being tied entering or through 7 innings. 24 have come in the final at-bat. And so Iowa's been in this position before. And trust me, it's going to be hard when you have number 30 Mason Edwards on the mound, but it's not unheard of for the Hawkeyes.
Well, they're trying to do something a little different here. They've got a pinch hitter in the redshirt junior, Jalen Ziegler, out of Urbandale, Iowa. Also transferred from a JUCO, DMAC. Currently hitting .339 on the season. Has started in quite a few games versus Minnesota. He played in the Saturday one, went 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. 7 multi-hit games this season. Quickly behind 1-2 for Mason Edwards.
Yeah, Ziegler, low walk rate for him, but he puts the ball in play. Has been efficient on the bases and solid defensively. Just 1 error in 34 chances. But like you said, part-time role for him this season. He has gotten the start quite a few times. Didn't get that tonight, but still trying to make his mark on this game.
Who needs 13 when you can have 14, says Mason Edwards. Fans another one painted on the corner. Not much more you can say about Mason Edwards' performance. He's going into the 8th inning now, his 14th strikeout, a career high.
We'll take a look at that last strikeout from Mason Edwards. New career high, but he keeps going.
Another swing and a miss from Delgado.
Delgado, one of the strikeouts that Edwards has gotten out.
The first 9 strikeouts were all swinging, mostly on the breaking ball on the dirt. And 4 out of the last 5 have been looking. So interesting, mixing up his pitches. Seems like Edwards throwing that breaking ball for a strike more often this 3rd time through the lineup. That one he got him swinging again. You better believe it. It'll be 15 strikeouts for Mason Edwards. It looks like he's not slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. Got him for the 2nd out of the inning.
He takes a quick walk around infield. Fired up, and I don't blame him. We're now here at the top of the 8th. The longest time that Mason Edwards has been in this season was at Cal Poly. He pitched for 7 innings to get 11 strikeouts.
And those were 7 no-hit innings as well. He worked alongside Sax Matson. They went into the 9th inning of no-hit baseball. Finally allowing a hit was Matson, and then a 6-run explosion in the top of the 10th for USC, closing the door. Mason Edwards is at 96 pitches. There is a decent chance that this will be his last hitter. It'll be a pinch hitter, Mitch Wood.
Mitch Wood, a veteran utility player, monster slugging percentage in that reserve role. He really has been a power bat off the bench. Spot starter for him.
Wood will take the place of Strohmeyer, who walked his last at bat. Trying to switch things up. That one swung on and missed. Already up to 14 strikeouts. 15, pardon me, for Mason Edwards. Working on 16. An 0-2 count. 2 down. Top of the 8th inning for number 30, the southpaw. Edwards, did he go around? Yes, he did. Closes the book. Strike 3, strikeout 16. Mason Edwards has the fans on their feet to Dado Field. 6-0 the score in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be the Trojans due up as some defensive substitutions on the side of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Brett White in right field, replacing Mitch Wood, who just pinch hit. So a double switch. Wood will go into right field. Into left field, Jalen Ziegler. You saw him pinch hit last time. Same arm in the game. It will be Carter Wilcox, the left-handed freshman.
And you just looked at Jalen Ziegler, now back again at Carter Wilcox. And he had a productive outing in the last inning. There's swells. Everyone waited for play to begin. But Brett White, now over there starting for him. He's a Baylor transfer and has had some productive offensive punch off the bench. He drew a key walk in the series clincher against Minnesota.
Cadena will lead off for his 4th time. He had an RBI single his first time up. Scored after a double his next. 1-0 count. That one runs inside. The freshman losing his control a bit on the breaking ball. Slipped out of his hands. Cadena has a free pass following the hit by pitch.
And it's no longer 30 versus 30 on the mound with Wilcox in. And it'll warrant a mound visit.
Might be the end of the day for Wilcox. It looks like it will be. Carter Wilcox, the freshman, still trying to manage his innings. Obviously, the freshman coming in. Only 7 innings pitched on the season. High had been 2 innings pitched coming into this game. And another left-handed pitcher will come into the game for the Hawkeyes. For Iowa, it kind of reminds you of the first game in the series last weekend against Minnesota. We'll talk about that in the Bill of Big Ten Plus. Iowa Hawkeyes looking for an answer out of the bullpen. They swap freshman for freshman, and they bring in John Henry Cohorst, a left-handed pitcher, 190 pounds, 6'2", a freshman from Apple Valley, Minnesota.
Yeah, another true freshman lefty. Very limited action. 3 appearances so far this season. 1 inning pitched, but has put up 2 strikeouts in those innings. The big issue for him in this extremely small sample size has been walks, 5 so far, and 2 stolen base attempts against him.
So 18-12 on the season. You talked about it a little bit, but it kind of reminds you of the Minnesota game in the first game of the series for Iowa. That one was a 9-4 loss. Gophers bested the Hawkeyes. And the scoring was stagnant early. You go to some younger guys out of the bullpen. And now they'll do the same as they turn to Cohorst with none down. You'll remember the inning started with a hit by pitch to Cadena. They'll check back in on him at first base.
Yeah, Iowa staff ERA a problem. 6.22, and that's not a typo. Several of their pitchers have ERAs above 7, 8, even 13. You see Cadena go over there to second base, but the Hawkeyes win because their offense is elite, and their defense is solid. We've talked about their field percentage all night, but against a USC lineup that's averaging over 6.5 runs per game, the pitching will be tested hard, and we knew that coming in. The moment that Iowa starter in Hackett only went 1 inning, the dynamic shifted completely.
It seemed like the plan was for Justin Hackett to go at least some distance, but 1 inning was such a short leash. It's a hard situation, especially with some younger arms in the bullpen. Got your starters for the next couple of days somewhat figured out. Talked about scoring early being such a key. 14-2 when scoring first. 15-3 when scoring 6 or more runs. They've done neither today.
That they have not. And for USC, we talked about how important it was for them to get on early and in their right mind, and they have done exactly that.
Young pitching staff, the statistic that keeps standing out, they lose 428 and a third innings pitched from last season. All of those guys were either drafted, transferred, whatever the case may be. Dean Carpentier facing a 3-1 count as Isaac Cadena leads off of second base.
And we've talked about Carpentier moving in and out of the lineup. One of the leaders in being hit by a pitch, and that one you could hear the smack from up here, and the umpire is down.
That was a double ricochet. It hit off the elbow pad of Dean Carpentier. Once again, he leads USC in hit by pitches. Already had one earlier in the game. That one will be his 10th. And Scott Letendre, home plate umpire, gets caught up in the crossfire of that one.
Yeah, you saw it there. Hits off of Carpentier's elbow, goes straight back towards Letendre afterwards. And Carpentier does a full 360. And the umpire staff will take a breather.
Well, Letendre gets checked up on. We've just gotten word. Mason Edwards, 16 strikeouts tonight. That is the most strikeouts by any USC player since 1999 by a USC pitcher. That ties Barry Zito. Recognize that name for third most strikeouts in a game by a USC pitcher. In good company is Edwards. Mound visit happening right now, possibly to give Letendre some more time. Calm down the freshman and Cohorst. If you're Coach Andy Stankiewicz, Coach Sean Allen, you've got Mason Edwards at 96 pitches, 16 strikeouts. He's gone 8 scoreless. Possibility to send him back out for the top of the ninth. Do you do it?
I'm going to say no, Liam. One, you want to stop while you're ahead. And both coaches for USC have talked about all season balancing the line. I think that if Edwards pushes it and he says that he wants to go out there, there might be a conversation of letting him. But also, you don't want to overextend him in a game that he's already doing so well in. Bottom of the 8th right now. You might have him go and finish off the game for the 9th. Play out this whole game with the best pitcher in the Big Ten. But also, you're up 6-0. Iowa is not threatening right now. So maybe you get someone like Gavin Lawrenson in there. But also, for Mason Edwards, it would be cool to do the entire game.
Season high of pitches is 111. That was back at Maryland, a battle for 4 1/3 innings pitched, and he has the chance to do the same number of pitches through 9 innings pitched tonight. Crazy how baseball works out. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Diego Velasquez due up, who doubled for his first hit as a USC Trojan, his last time up, an RBI double. Corners playing in, expecting a bunt. Cadena off second, Carpentier off first. Both of them were hit by a pitch by different pitchers, however. John Henry Cohorst, the freshman left-hander. That one gets away from Geffrey. Runners will advance 90 feet. Cadena moves up to third. Carpentier up to second.
Cohorst goes to cover home, but Cadena will wait it out at third.
Well, back to Edwards. If it's any...
Yeah, what say you, Liam?
Well, if it's any up to his decision, you know that Mason Edwards is going to go out there. That's the type of competitor he is. I think I opt to agree with you and say that send someone else out. Also, you got a 6-run lead right now. The potential to get some more insurance run with a 2-1 count at the plate. Nobody out. Diego Velasquez following a double. If you get some more insurance, you have the chance to throw someone who hasn't gotten a lot of innings this season.
Yeah, why stress it?
Get some experience. However, a complete game shutout, I'm sure something that Edwards has on his mind. 3-1 count to Diego Velasquez, who might have just earned his own today for USC. In place of Maddox Risky, who's been struggling at the plate, Velasquez has been solid defensively, but was searching for his first hit as a Trojan. He did it earlier today, back in the 6th inning, an RBI double down the right field line that was laced. Full count, nobody out. Runners on second and third. Cohorst to the plate. Taken upstairs and high. Miss glove side did Cohorst, and it'll be bases juiced for Avery Covarrubias.
Covarrubias, one of the best leadoff hitters in the Big Ten this season. And we talked about how he had some arm soreness in the fall, took some practices easy back then, hitting .286 on the season, and really has been a table setter with elite strike zone awareness.
Cohorst will exit the game following a hit by pitch and a walk. We'll have you updated with the relief pitcher entering in the bottom of the 8th inning. Nobody out, bases loaded. As we come back soon on Big Ten Plus. In what was supposed to be a rainy night here in Southern California, the weather god said that's not happening. Instead, sun, nice weather, and USC on top today, 6-0. Liam Irvin alongside McKenna Arteaga. Another freshman will enter the game for Iowa with the bases loaded, no down. That's back-to-back-to-back freshmen entering the game for the Hawkeyes. It seems like their plan has been to try out some newer guys today.
Yeah, you know, no rain in the forecast, but the Trojans have certainly been raining on the parade of the Hawkeyes. And you said it again, yet another true freshman, this time a right-hander in for the Hawkeyes. He's made 4 appearances, including 3 starts in his debut season. 7.71 ERA. Has a win on the record, solid strikeout numbers in those limited works. 8 strikeouts so far on the season to pair with 5 walks.
And that right-hander will be Nick Terhar, the 6'3 freshman, 224 pounds, from Saginaw, Minnesota. Second Minnesotian in the lineup. Is that how you say it, McKenna?
I don't know. I thought you were going to go with the Minnesota accent with that, but, you know, we'll keep that for off the broadcast.
We'll research that offline. For now, Avery Covarrubias due up with the bases loaded. This inning has been decided by free passes. Hit by pitch to start for Isaac Cadena. Dean Carpentier hit by pitch. And a walk for Diego Velasquez at first base. It'll be Avery Covarrubias' turn. He's reached base once, but he was caught stealing a walk all the way back in the first inning. Then he lined out to the center fielder. 2 ground out choppers to Gable Mitchell at second base. First pitch, number off the end of the bat, foul.
And you could say it's hard to put a freshman in the position with USC's leadoff hitter and all bases loaded, but freshman is all the Hawkeyes have right now.
Well, we've talked about all night the change-up from all the innings last season. Such a veteran pitching staff for the Hawkeyes last year. This season, it's been dependent on some freshmen. And with that comes some up and down capabilities. Terhar seems to be settled in to start his day. 0-2 count to Covarrubias. Middle plays back, corners play even with the bag. Terhar kicks, pitches, slashed into right field. Right at the replacement Brett White. He'll come up firing into the plate. It won't be enough. Another run comes around. Isaac Cadena scores, make it 7-0. Trojans on top, following a sacrifice fly for Avery Covarrubias.
So Covarrubias going for what's needed instead of the big play. And that's what you want to see with some of your upperclassmen and really the whole team is, can they get what is needed for the team in that moment? And he does exactly that. He gets Cadena in to score, increases the lead. Not that they're down and needed another run, but trying to go for another score rather than trying to make those big swings to get a possible grand slam.
Well, you see it on the scoreboard. Only 7 hits for USC, which in retrospect was 7 runs. Usually you need a little more hits than runs to score that 7. But they just have timely hitting. They've done it time and time again. They're not afraid to draw walks, get hit by pitches. Saw 2 in that inning that result in a run. All the runners on the base path right now manufactured by walks or hit by pitches. Covarrubias doing his job, poking it to the right fielder. Lopez swings on one, taps it off the chest protector of Geffrey.
Yeah, you got to speak to the thickness of the skin. You look at Dean Carpentier, who has gotten hit twice, still leads the Trojans in the hit by pitch. And like you said, Liam, lots of pitches going into bodies tonight.
Well, Terhar limits the damage a little bit, picks up out one. He's got Adrian Lopez now, though, in a 1-1 count with one down. Double play is the optimistic choice for the Hawkeyes. Middle plays back, corners play. Pretty solid even depth. Lopez on the day lined out sharply to the left fielder his first time up, then a single. Scored that time, then a ground out and a strikeout. 1 for 4. That one just misses outside. Good pitch by Terhar. Scott Letendre behind the plate. Saw it outside.
He seems to be doing fine. No longer bending at the legs after being hit by a pitch earlier.
3-1, 1 down. Velasquez does have speed at first base. Doesn't decide to take off and chasing out of the zone. A brash decision from Lopez.
Last time he was up, he did strike out. Now full count.
Able to foul that one off. How about 93 for the freshman right-hander? Terhar rears back and fires one. Wonder why Lopez was a little late on that. And you look up at the radar gun, 93 miles per hour.
That explains it.
Adrian Lopez been so solid all year long. Mentioned his move all over the place, position-wise. Transfer from Long Beach State. Full count, 1 down. Velasquez takes off on the pitch. It's fouled off. Velasquez will retreat. He said, I've been to 2 high schools and 2 colleges, and I finally feel like I found a home at USC. Found a home, he definitely has. Second on the team in hits with 37, tied for first in RBIs at 27.
I was really struggling to pitch around him. One of the most complete hitters for the Trojans.
Full count, 1 down. Runner takes off again. Once again, same result. Foul down the first base line. All heat it's been for Terhar. 3 straight fastballs.
This one coming in at 93 miles an hour. So getting that speed up there.
The possibility here, once again, after 7 innings, if either squad is leading by 10 or more runs, the game called a mercy rule of sorts. Strike 3 on the corner. That mercy will have to wait. Terhar rings him up on the outside breaking ball. He went 3 fastballs in a row, and then he got him buckled on the breaking ball.
Yeah, Lopez just kind of tapping his bat after that one. We'll take another look here. He thinks that he's got the walk, starts making his way towards first, takes 2 steps before he finds out, oh wait, I'm out.
A little too close for comfort. Two down, Augie Lopez with a runner on first and third. Takes outside. Pretty solid attendance here at Dado Field tonight. Check out that berm in left field. Been kids scattered on it all night.
They just love to go up and down that hill. I've done it at every game here at Dado. It's not too cold yet. A lot of times it gets freezing down here at Dado. You have the wind coming in and kind of get stuck in the tunnel, but it's just partly cloudy, 65. We see some of the kids over there. They're having a good time. Maybe they'll toss a ball to us, Liam.
There's been kids scattered all night to watch the home team dominate. 2-0 pitch fouled back by Lopez. He's been in 3 2-0 counts tonight. One of them he executed on a single. The other one he drew a walk. That one, he was trying to do some damage. Single in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Walked in the bottom of the 5th. Otherwise, a strikeout and a flyout. 2-1 count, 2 down. Carpentier and Velasquez have been stagnant for 2 batters. And they'll have to wait a little longer. Cut through the breaking ball. Terhar's got some pretty solid stuff from that right side.
That he does. Not something you see from every freshman, but he seems to be having more success in the bottom of the 8th.
2-2 count, 2 down. Runners on 1st and 3rd. Terhar trying to work the Hawkeyes out of the jam. Misses low at the shins of Lopez. Count will go full, which means Diego Velasquez will get a head start on this pitch in a 3-2, 2-out situation. Terhar came in with the bases loaded and nobody out. Worked his way around trouble. The payoff. Missed him outside, and it actually hits off the glove of Geffrey. Another run comes across for USC. 8-0 Trojans.
So Geffrey, a catcher who's been so strong all season, and we've talked about how great the fielding has been for Iowa. Another position where he's unable to get underneath the ball. We'll take a look at it there. Goes for the reach, bounces off his glove yet again, and it'll gift USC another run.
Second run of the inning, Deegan Carpentier comes across. Just when Terhar looked like he was going to get out of the jam and limit the damage. Now the chance for the dangerous Kevin Takeuchi. On a 6-game hit streak. Hasn't recorded a hit tonight, but has reached base twice. That might be one right there in the hole. Tough play for Schulte. He'll have to eat it. Another run comes in to score. There goes a 7-game hit streak now for Kevin Takeuchi. 9th run comes across.
We'll take a look at that swing from Takeuchi there. So consistent there. Good single for him. But he's someone who is also one of the leaders in doubles, 10 doubles, not trying to elevate, driving the ball into gaps, and really making pitchers pay for leaving anything in the middle.
One swing away from a possibility of a mercy rule, once again leading by 10 runs after 7 innings. Warrants the end of a game. Walter Urban has the chance to do it. The freshman outfielder from Manhattan Beach, California, has 1 hit on the season. Played in various pinch run situations. His hit was against Cal Poly on March 1st in a pinch hit opportunity. Has a chance to end the game now. It'll have to wait. An infield pop fly. Communicating is Swales. He'll catch it just past the 3rd base line. Mercy rule will have to wait. 9
innings pitched. But he wants to get it done here against Iowa.
He's got a good chance to do some. He's going to have to go through the top of the lineup, though. It'll be Ben Swales, Gable Mitchell, and Danny Wolf. Edwards already with 16 strikeouts. Most strikeouts by any pitcher since 1999. He looks like he might have just manufactured his first out. He did. 1 up, 1 down. Diego Velasquez squeezes it in shallow left.
The Edwards, another out closer from ending the game. But now you have Gable Mitchell up, who, like we said, one of the hardest players to strike out in the nation, 5th hardest. And Edwards has had success against him, but can he do it again?
Hit off the knob of the bat towards the dugout. Maximo Martinez looked like he had to try for that for a second. Instead, it falls foul. 0-1, 1 down. Reminder again, Edwards with 16 strikeouts right now. It's a career high for him. It's the most strikeouts since 1999 by a USC pitcher. Tied Barry Zito for the 3rd most strikeouts in a game by a USC pitcher. He returns with with 102 pitches on his pitch count. And he's throwing like it's the first with the breaking ball dropped in. 0-2 count to Gable Mitchell. Looking for his 17th strikeout of the day. Missed high and away. Fastball riding to 92. Empty the tank time for Mason Edwards. You assume if he gives up a base runner, walks a batter, he most likely will be taken out of this game with a 9-0 lead. Can't risk it. For now, the chance for 17 strikeouts. That one just foul over the third base bag. Only one hit on the day for Iowa. It came all the way back in the top of the 6th. And it was off the previous hitter, Swales.
And if you're Edwards, you're over 100 pitches so far. Going up against Mitchell, you have struck out before. He hasn't been able to get a hit. And so trying to make some magic happen so late in the game.
That one lined up the middle would be a tough play for the shortstop Velasquez. He reaches out, but he can't make it. Gable Mitchell with his first hit of the series. It was only a matter of time before the leadoff man for the Hawkeyes got things started. Now the question, does Edwards stay in the game?
And that ball went straight towards Edwards. It almost looked like it was going to peg him in the leg. He moves out of the way and will stay out.
Looks like this is all Edwards' game. Up 9-0 are the Trojans, with 2 more outs needed for Edwards to get a complete game shutout. First pitch, fanned on and missed. He's got a tall task ahead of him. He already faced off against Gable Mitchell, who singled up the middle. Caleb Wolf now. Leader on the team in batting average. Been such a constant for the Hawkeyes all season. That one just at the knees. Strike 2. 16 on the day for Mason Edwards, chasing 17.
And he's up against Wolf, who is one of the hottest hitters in the Big Ten at the plate.
That one, corner, just barely outside.
Crowd getting active in it once again. Looking for another strikeout from Edwards.
1-2, 1 down. Mason Edwards chasing 17 strikeouts on the night. He'll check back in on Gable Mitchell, who definitely has the threat to take off. So to that list of strikeouts, as we'll let Edwards deliver in a 1-2 count with 1 down. Mason kicks, pitches, outside. That one at 93. He's been sitting at 90 miles per hour the whole game. Crowd wanted that one, but credit to Scott Letendre. About a ball or 2 off the plate. 2-2 now for 17. Did he give it? He didn't go around. The appeal to third base umpire John Wolf. Full count.
And I think you can see the frustration in the crowd's face. Everyone really not only wanting that for Edwards, but you can hear the shouts from up here.
Already tied Barry Zito's record for strikeouts. That one laced down the left field line. Slicing foul.
So Edwards' pitch count continuing to up. Now sitting at 112. Kids will go after the ball. But Edwards still in it.
Full count, 1 down. Mitchell leads off first base for 17 strikeouts. He lost them. Free pass to Danny Wolf. Seems like, once again, Edwards will remain in the game. Bullpen is active. That looks to be Garen Rizzo, the right-handed pitcher.
It's been the beginning of a tough ninth for Edwards. You now have 2 players on base and have to face against Miles Risley.
Already tied for third all-time in single-game strikeouts is Edwards. Tied with Barry Zito, who did it 3 times in one season in 1999. The other two ahead of him, John Herbst in 1965 against UC Santa Barbara. Number 1, Dale Ziegler, 21 in 1957 against Fresno State. Following the free pass to Wolf, a 1-1 count with 1 down.
Some big names Edwards is joining up there.
Mason Edwards with a season-high 115 pitches in the top of the 9th inning.
You look at Risley, who does have one of the highest strikeout rates on the team. Already has one tonight.
That one at 69 miles per hour. 116th pitch of the night. You got to think this should be the last hitter for Mason Edwards.
Yeah, possibly. He wasn't throwing like that when he was at 105 pitches. We saw it at the beginning of this inning, but these last 10 have gone a little down in quality.
That one chopped through the left side. First run has a chance to come in. Mitchell to the plate. Throw will be held on in left field by Carpentier. Hawkeyes get their first run of the game. And the Hawkeye faithful who traveled all the way from Iowa City getting into it.
It's Whitehead having him pitch. Stankiewicz really emphasizing that if after pitching, those guys wake up and feel good, it's a win for them, because he says that they need them back out there. And now Rizzo coming in with an opportunity to finish it off here after an excellent showing from Mason Edwards.
Runners on first and second. As a reminder, a pop out to the shortstop from Swales to start the inning. That was followed by a single from Gable Mitchell. Danny Wolf walked, and then another single from Risley. First run of the series produced by Iowa, following Mason Edwards on 120 pitches. Carter Geffrey will take on Garen Rizzo. 2 more outs needed. That prevented the shutout from happening. USC first in the Big Ten in shutouts, second in the NCAA. They could have tied first in the country if they had one today. 6 on the season. That'll have to wait.
Close enough, but not quite there for the Trojans. But it took them until the 9th for the Hawkeyes to get on the board. But now you have Geffrey up, and he's someone who has come in clutch in moments. Now he's going to swing the bat as he walks over to first.
4 pitches, 4 balls, a walk for Garen Rizzo. Bases loaded. Once again, McKenna, an 8-run cushion lead. But the Iowa offense has a history of coming back in big games. Got Garen Rizzo in now. Got to be thinking of that Iowa dugout. They're sighing for relief following Mason Edwards' exit of the game. That one, a very good breaking ball. Buckled Schulte from the right side.
Yeah, you got to play all 9 innings, especially in a matchup like this. You have the bases loaded if you're the Hawkeyes and really want to produce here. It's an uphill battle. 1-9 isn't exactly what you want to see top of the 9th, but trying to make something happen.
Deep fly ball to right field. Just shy of the track, Walter Urban is. Backpedaling a little bit. Another run will come across to score as Danny Wolf comes in easy. Risley moves on to third base. Productive out for Schulte. 2-9 now.
Take a look at that swing. High up in the air. And it gets another Hawkeye in. Not exactly the grand slam they needed, but they can chip away one after one. It's just about staying in the game, and it's one and done at this point.
2 down, 1 to go to close off the first win of the series for USC to snap a 4-game skid. And it'll be Jalen Ziegler in the way of things for Garen Rizzo. First pitch, waved on and missed.
Big swing from Ziegler, who struck out in the 8th. He has 19 hits on the season so far in that limited part-time role.
Trojans started the season 19-0. It marks their best in program history. Final unbeaten team in the country. Then they went on a little skid the past couple of games. 4 losses in the past 4 games. Swept by UCLA. Lost the midweek to UC Santa Barbara. Can they get their revenge in the first game of the Friday night series? Tipped off. Oh, 2 down. Garen Rizzo off first base. Geffrey following the walk, and Risley on third base. Jalen Zeger facing Garen Rizzo. Game 1 of the series, the first time the 2 squads have ever faced off, let alone in Big Ten play. The pitch just missed outside.
Trojan fans getting on their feet. They've been standing waiting for this last strikeout. They were clapping on the last pitch, have stopped in the interim, and are now starting back up again.
(27-7) on the year. Looking for their 28th and the first win in a 3-game set. Rizzo's pitch, he got him. A historic night for Mason Edwards. 16 strikeouts from the southpaw. Garen Rizzo comes out and helps him out. 28-7, move USC. First game of the series, first game of the contest for Iowa and USC.